each. Hey everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are RIZIN podcast. This is your host, Andy Benjamin. I'm joined by a very special guest today. With us, we have Takumi Suzuki, who will be taking on Akira at RIZIN Trigger the 2nd, February 23rd. You can watch the show on live now with English commentary. Suzuki-san, thank you very much for your time today. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
よろしくお願いします。
First, for people who are not familiar, may not be familiar with you, just tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into mixed martial arts?
まずアメリカのファンの方で鈴木選手のことを知らない人もいると思いますので、まずなんで格闘技を始めたのか、そのきっかけから教えていただけますか？
はい。一番初めは、小学生の時に、兄と一緒になぜか気まぐれで柔道を始めました。
Well, I think first when I began was in elementary school and I started training judo, just the heck of it.
And then that led you to Jiujitsu, the Bonsai Gym?
で、それが結局じゃあ小学校で柔道始めてその後柔術に行ったんですか？それともそこからその盆栽までどういった経緯になったのかっていうことを教えていただきたいんですけども。
はい。中学生になって部活で柔道部に入って、で、高校に入った時に部活はやらずに、盆栽に入りました。
Actually, I joined the judo team in junior high school, so it's a school sports for me. And then I did not join the judo in high school. Instead, I joined Bonsai Jiujitsu.
Oh, okay. And so for people who may not be familiar with your fight career, you've actually been fighting in deep for a long time. And actually, you got your first finish of your career in your last fight against Satoru Kitaoka. Can you tell me about how did it feel to get your first finish in your pro fighting career?
どうですかね、今までこうディープで長い間試合してきましたけども、前回の北岡戦が初めてフィニッシュしたっていうことなんですけども、キャリアで初めてこうフィニッシュで勝ったってことに関してはどう思ってますか？
そうですね。自分でもびっくりしました。嬉しかったです。
Well, to summarize, I was actually surprised with myself too. But I was very happy about it.
What do you mean by surprise? I mean, did you do you go into a fight to and always thinking about finish, or does that just do you not think about that? Is it just kind of thinking about winning the fight the best you can?
どうですかね、びっくりしたってことは、それはいつも試合する前に、まず勝つっていうことを考えているだけであって、別に特別にフィニッシュしようとか、そういうことはあんまり考えてないとか、そういうことだからびっくりしたってことでしょうか？どういう意味でしょうかって。
そうですね。今までずっと判定で、ジムの仲間とかからも、判定王みたいな、ちょっとバカにされるじゃないですけど、そういう言い方もあって、自分の中でも、次も判定かなみたいな、そういうのもあったんで、はい。
Well, I was surprised because I always had the only decision finishes. I mean, the decision results. And actually, my gym members, the fellow members of the team, started to teasing me and calling me that decision king. So I kind of always expected, oh, Jesus, I'm probably this is going to decision again. But instead, this time, I was able to finish him. So I was very surprised because of that.
So let us talk about your fight at RIZIN Trigger the 2nd, also your RIZIN debut, taking on Akira Okada, Pancrase fighter. And can you tell us a little bit about what do you think about your opponent? You fight before, and any thoughts you think about him as a fighter?
今度のトリガーの、相手の試合の対戦相手が、アキラ選手なんですけども、パンクラスで試合をしてきて、この前、ライジンでデビューしましたけども、アキラ選手の印象というか、どういう選手だと思いますか？
そうですね。もちろん強いことは分かってるんですけど、正直最近パンクラスで出てるんで、アキラ選手が。最近僕、あんまりパンクラスをチェックできてなくて、直近の試合はライジンだけなんですよね、見たのは。なんで、細かいところまで分析というか、そういうことはできてないんですけど、強いのは知ってます。パンチが強くて、グラップリングも強くてっていう。
Well, I know he's a strong fighter, but, to be honest with you, in terms of his recent Pancrase fights, I haven't been able to check up on any of those. I only checked his last fight in RIZIN, So it's not like I analyzed him fully yet. But yes, I know he's strong and he has a pretty good punches and he's a good grappler. So that's my impression.
What do you think your strengths are against him when that fight when the cage door finally closes?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Sorry. What do you consider your strengths against him as a fighter?
じゃあ逆に鈴木さんから見て自分の方が勝ってるなっていう、これが俺の強みだなっていう、明選手に対してね、そういった点がありますか？何かあったら教えてください。
そうですね。パワー以外は、打撃でも僕の方がテクニックもあると思うし、グラウンドはもちろん盆栽で培った寝技があるので、技術的には問題ないかなと。
Actually, this is what I think. He is only better than me in terms of power department. When it comes to striking, I think my technique is better. And when it comes to a grappling or like a ground game, I mean, as you could see, all these years of training at Bonsai Jiujitsu is just making him technically a better fighter. So I'm only thinking he's just a better in terms of strength. That's it.
Gotcha. You also said something very interesting at the press conference, and I'd like to kind of like have you expand upon that. You said that you would be happy being the guy who people have to beat to get to Satoshi. You're the coach at Bonsai Jiujitsu. So do you see yourself? Are you okay? That basically sounds like you're okay with being with like in a gatekeeper role. Is that correct?
記者会見で、サトシ選手にたどり着くまでの、こう関門みたい、門番みたいな感じになってもいいみたいなことをおっしゃってましたけども、それってやっぱり、要するにライト級の、門番みたいな立ち位置で、これからやってってもいいみたいな感じがあるってことでしょうかね。
そうですね。もちろん、今回勝てないと、話にならないですけど、チャンピオンにたどり着く、なんですかね、チャンピオンに挑戦することは全く考えてなくて、それをなんかつまんないっていう人もいるかもしれないですけど、本当にサトシ先生は別格っていうのはもちろん練習で分かってるし、それだけリスペクトしてるからです。
Well, here's what it is. I have to win this upcoming fight to even get to this gatekeeper status. I understand that. Now, some people criticize me saying I'm boring because I'm not thinking about becoming a champion in RIZIN this weight class because Sensei Satoshi is just in a different league. I know that and I respect him so much. That's why I'm saying that I'm not looking to get a belt. So therefore, yeah, I would like to be a gatekeeper for that weight class.
So with this fight against Akira, how do you see this fight going? Do you see your second finish coming in your career? Do you see this becoming another decision win? Tell me how do you see this fight going in your favor?
どうですかね、アキラ選手の試合がどういった展開になって、どういった結果になるって自分の中で考えてますか？またフィニッシュ、2連続でフィニッシュいくかなとか、どういうこと考えてます？
そうですね。打撃になるのか、寝技になるのか、それはもうその時の空気というか、自分がいけるって思った方でいこうかなと思ってます。
Well, in terms of what's going to happen in this upcoming fight is that I can do both striking and the ground fight, obviously. So I'm just going to approach this fight as if it has to go to striking, I will. If it has to go hit the ground, I will. So I'm ready to go anyways.
The fight will also be in a cage, and I'm curious to know, have you fought in a ring before? I know that Deep has cages in rings, but I've only seen you fight in a cage. But
基本的に今回はケージですけども、ディープでもリングとかケージ両方で試合したことありますよね。Yeah, he has done it before. Yeah.
How do you feel the fight being in a cage? Do you have a preference, ring or cage?
どうですかね。それでケージとリングどっちがいいですか？それじゃあその理由は何でしょうか？
僕はケージの方が好きですね。なんでかって言ったら、理由は単純で、練習環境にリングがないからですね。
Well, I prefer actually cage, and there's one simple reason for that. Because we do not have a ring in our gym.
Oh, okay. I see. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. So one thing I want to know, learning under Satoshi, tell me, what is he like as a jiu-jitsu coach? I mean, obviously he's one of the best jiu-jitsu players in the world, but I want to know how is he as a coach?
どうですかね、佐藤先生のちょっと話になるんですけども、もちろん彼がまあ素晴らしい選手だったのもみんな分かってるんですけども、その選手としてじゃなくて、コーチとして彼というのはどういった感じなんでしょ
すごくいい先生だと思います。本当にみんなのことを見てるし、今回も僕の試合が次の試合、アキラ選手とやるって言った、もう次の日から対策というか、練習を手伝ってくれてます。
う？ No, I think he's extremely a good teacher, and in the sense that he not only just the specific fighters, he watches every fighters, the members in the gym, and on top of that, he cares about each fighter. So when my fight against Akira was decided, right on the next day, he started watching Akira's video and started analyzing with me and started working with me, especially towards this fight.
Okay. Do you he's watching video. Do you watch I think you mentioned that you only saw his fight rise, but do you also try to watch as much video on your opponents, or was that up to your coaches?
で、佐藤先生がそうやっていろいろ研究してくれて分析してくれるのに、鈴木選手はそのパンクラスの直近の明選手の試合を見ないんですかって言うんですけど。
ですね、最近あれですかね、ファイトパスでもなくて、やめちゃったのかなっていうのもあって、ただ、最近僕あんまり対戦相手のことをそんなに見なくなって、昔はすごい細かく見て、なんか対策とかもやってたんですけど、結局はやっぱり自分の強みを出すっていうことが一番大事だなと思って、最近は昔ほど対戦相手のことを気にしなくなりました。
Well, here's a couple of reasons. One, the Pancras is no longer on the UFC Fight Pass, so it's not that easy to get access to those fights. But two, this is the primary reason for this, is that I used to actually watch all in the past fights of my opponent and analyze it very carefully. But I actually stopped doing that recently because I came to the point that I realized that it's all about something that I have to do what I'm good at in fights. I have to show my strength, where my strong departments are. So that's my fight style. So I don't really get into too much an analytical concept of my opponent.
Okay, I understand. So now this fight happens, you win. What would you like or who would you like next, I should say, in RIZIN? Do you have somebody in mind who you would like to fight next?
じゃあ次の試合、アキラ選手とやって勝った場合、次やりたい選手とか、どういう方向に行きたいとか、何か希望はありますか？
やりたい選手、特に、この人っていうのはないですけど、そこまで考えてないですね。まずはこの試合っていう感じですね。
Well, I really don't have anybody specific in mind in terms of who I want to fight in RIZIN, and I'm not actually really thinking that far. I'm only thinking about the upcoming fight because I got to win this one.
Okay. Just to let you know, we did talk to a fighter about he's having a jiu-jitsu super fight next month. We talked to Grant Bogdanov from Alma Fight Gym, and he said he was interested in fighting you. I guess you could tell him, yeah.
What's his name?
Grant Bogdanov. He fought he fought Suzuki on one of the trigger cards, and then I'm trying to remember who's his other fight in RIZIN. He's had two fights in RIZIN, and he's also fought in Deep as well. He's also fought on Deep as well.
Really? Okay. Yeah. 彼のなんか、ジュースの先生がディープでも試合して、ライジンでも試合したことある選手なんですけど、鈴木選手とやりたがってるそうですって。
そうなんですか。
Yeah, we'll find out who he is. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And so I mean, okay. So, what do you see your long-term goals in MMA? I know your career is still a little bit. It's still young. You're still young. What do you see yourself? What are your main goals right now in this sport?
じゃあ、MMA の選手として、この長期的なゴールとして、キャリアの一番もう目指している部分というのは何ですか？
そうですね。もちろん結果も出したいんですけど、おじいちゃんになってもやりたいですね。
Well, I want to, of course, produce a good results in all the fights, but I actually would like to continue fighting till when I get to grandpa stage.
To grandpa stage. How are you defining grandpa? I don't know. Is grandpa the same as here in the United States, which is I think 70? Do you see yourself fighting? I don't know, or you define grandpa as like MMA grandpa, like kind of like how Arlovsky or some other fighters are kind of like older fighters now.
そのおじいちゃんまででも試合したいっていうと、アメリカでいうとおじいちゃんって言われたら70歳ぐらいでも試合したいんですかって話になるのか、それとも例えば MMA の世界でおじいちゃん、例えばアンドレ・アルロフスキーとか、すごいベテランになっても試合したいとか、どういう意味ですかねって。
まあ70は言い過ぎかもしれないですけど、できるだけ長く、そうですね。若くて強い人はいっぱいいると思うんですよ。でも、年取って強い人ってあんまりいないと思うんで、自分はそっちの可能性っていうか、長くやっていけばもっと成長するだろうし、達人っていうか、そっちを目指したいですね。
Well, maybe 70 is a little too much, but close. Because what I want to do is this: that I see there's a lot of young and strong guys out there, right? But you don't see too many old and strong guys. So I want to get to that level. So it's more like I'm going to reach to the like ultimate level of fighting. You know, so it's not really only about the fighting about, it's about practicing this discipline until as long as I can.
Okay, gotcha. So when you're not training or getting ready for a fight, Suzuki-san, like what is it that you're doing in your free time? Any fun hobbies or interests?
じゃあ試合とか練習以外に、なんか趣味とかなんか休日の時何なさってるんですか？
格闘技しかないですね。
Well, my life is only about 格闘技, mixed martial arts, that's it.
Fair enough. Do you have a favorite martial Kakutogi movie in that case?
じゃあ逆にじゃあ格闘技系の映画とかドラマとか見てなんか好きなものとかあります？
かといって、そういうのはもうあんま見ないですね。
Well, actually, I actually don't really watch that type of movie or drama either. So.
Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, so literally it's just going to the gym. Okay, I understand. I thought that also included like other outside that include like martial arts movies potentially as well. Okay, gotcha. So I mean, like, do you like? I know you said you would like to fight later. I mean, do you see yourself also potentially being a coach? Maybe would you have somebody you'd be ever interested in partaking in?
それじゃあこう長くこのスポーツを続けていくって考えたときに、やっぱり将来的にはコーチとか指導者になることも考えてますか？
そうですね。まあ一個の道としてあるかなっていうのは思いますけど、まだそこじゃないかなっていう、まだ具体的には考えてないですね。まだ先の話。
Sure, in terms of a long path to get to this lifelong, discipline of this fight sports, sure, I could see myself coaching, but at this point in my career, I'm not really thinking specifically about that because I'm still active.
Okay, gotcha. And I'm just curious to know, are you still with Deep? If they offer you a fight this year, are you still going to fight for them, or is there anything to tell us about your Deep status?
どうですかね、RIZINこれ試合をして、この後、どうなるか分かんないですけども、勝ったとして、じゃあまたディープでも試合しないかってオファーが来たらディープでも試合しますか？それともこのままずっとRIZINで試合し続けたいですか？
いや、もちろんディープも出ますよ。タイトル取らないといけないと思ってるので、もちろん。
Of course, I'll fight for deep again because you know why? Because I need to get the lightweight title over there too. So that's one of my goals.
Okay. Gotcha. So, and I know you said that the other members of the gym gave you gave you the joking nickname, the decision maker. I know you don't have an official MMA nickname as far as I know. But if you could give yourself one, what nickname would you give yourself?
ジムのメンバーは判定王とか言うらしいって言っていましたけども、今、鈴木さんってこうオフィシャルな公式なニックネームってないじゃないですか。で、自分のニックネームをつけるってなったら、何か考えてることあります？
そうですね。髪こんなにしてるんで、エメラルドとか、エメラルドなんとかがかっこいいのをつけてほしいです。
それ髪の毛がさ、エメラルドっぽいってことなの？
一応、三沢光晴さんから取って、エメラルドグリーン。
Okay. Here's what it is. You could see my hair color. That's emerald green. Okay. So it's coming from that pro wrestler, Mitsuhara Misawa, which is I respect. So maybe something to do with emerald, you know?
Okay. Oh God, I wish we had so much more time because now that you say Misawa, I'm gonna have 1,000 pro wrestling questions to ask you. But just off, I guess the only question I'll ask is, you have a favorite match of his?
それではじゃあ、三沢さんの中で一番好きだった試合って何かあります？最後に。
ですね、これ言うと多分がっかりされると思うんですけど、僕、三沢さんのことあんまり知らなくて。
あ、そう。
ですよ。そう
じゃあなんでそれ三沢さんあれしてんの？
一番初めにファンクラスに出て、ファンクラスのメインカードに出るときに、入場曲何にしようってなって、入場曲とか自分のキャラクターとか、どういう感じで行こうってなって、で、関根シュレック秀樹さんに相談したら、三沢さんがいいんじゃないかってなって、で、入場曲もスパルタン X。で、髪の色もそれから緑にしてるんですよ。
Okay. All right. So I gotta make a little. I need to revise and take back what I said earlier. That I do respect Misawa, but to not disappoint anyone, it's not like I watched lots of his pro wrestling bouts. What happened was that when the first time I fought for the Pancras main card, I wanted to come up with a new look and new walkout songs. And I consulted with Mr. Shrek Sekine, which is, older member of my gym member. And he suggested about the Misawa. He explained who he is and what his colors are like and what's walkout song, which is Spartan. And so I kind of copied that. And that's the beginning of me and Misawa. So it's not like I watched lots of his pro wrestling bouts.
Oh, okay, no problem. Monday night. Okay, that's cool that you still that it's still inspired by Misawa.
Right.
Rest in peace. Before you go, Suzuki-san, I just wanted to get if you have any sponsors you want to plug or SNS, as well as this might be the first time international fans might be seeing you fight. So if there's any comments you would like to give them when they see before they see you fight.
じゃあこれで最後なんですけども、なんか一言ファンに言いたいこととか、例えばなんかスポンサーに対してお願いしますみたいな、いろいろありがとうございました。言いたいことがありましたら、最後にメッセージお願いします。
そうですね。盆栽柔術が今すごい有名になって、サトシ先生とかクレベルのおかげなんですけど、その2人だけじゃないぞっていう、鈴木匠もいるぞっていうのを見せたいですね。
Well, right now, Bonsai Jiujitsu is very popular in Japan because of Mr. Satoshi and Mr. Clever. But I want to show everyone that they're not the only two from this team. We got Takumi Suzuki here from Bonsai Jiujitsu. That's what I want to show next week.
Okay, great. Then you can see Takumi Suzuki fight Akira next week, February 23rd. RIZIN Trigger 2nd. On Live Now, English commentary. And Suzuki-san, thank you very much for your time. Really looking forward to your fight, your RIZIN debut, and seeing where your career goes from here. Ganbare desu.
じゃあ、これでおしまいですので、ありがとうございました。